The Bering Sea, a freezing stretch of water between Alaska and Russia, is one of the most unforgiving places on Earth. The surface temperature can drop below -4 degrees Fahrenheit or about -20 degrees Celsius, with winds howling at over 62 miles per hour or about 100 kilometers per hour, and waves towering 3 times the height of an average person. Yet in the midst of this icy wilderness, hundreds of people still choose to set sail, not in search of gold or silver, but to hunt a creature known as the red gold of the deep, the king crab. These crabs live only in extremely cold waters, usually at depths between 650 and 300 feet, or about 200 to 400 meters. A fully grown king crab can weigh over 22 pounds, or about 10 kilograms, with claws as thick as a man's forearm. Its meat is white, sweet, and rich in protein, making it a luxurious delicacy sought after all over the world, from Japan and South Korea to the United States. A single king crab leg can sell for hundreds of dollars, turning it into the fiercely hunted treasure of Alaskan fishermen. But the road to this red gold is anything but easy. Every year, the crabbing season lasts only about 3 to 4 weeks. During that short window, fishermen must battle nature itself for every minute and every catch. Their boats face massive snowstorms, with temperatures so low that seawater can freeze right on the deck. Just one misstep, a strong wave, or a rope wrapping around someone's leg, and that person could be dragged into the freezing depths forever. Fishermen work up to 20 hours a day, barely getting any sleep. They wear heavy, insulated gear, their hands and feet numb from the icy saltwater. Each steel trap, weighing over 660 pounds or about 300 kilograms, is dropped to the seafloor hundreds of feet below. They wait for hours before hauling it back up, hoping to find giant crabs inside, the hard-earned reward for their grueling labor and constant risk. Veterans of the trade call it a game of life and death. They know that one mistake in a storm can capsize a boat or take a man's life. Yet for them, this is not just a job. It is a way of life, a means to support their families, and sometimes a legacy passed down through generations. An old fisherman once said, "Every trip to sea is a gamble. Some people win for years and some never come back." That is not just a figure of speech. It is the brutal truth that everyone who braves the Bering Sea must face. The king crab, scientifically known as Paralithodes kamchatkos, belongs to the family Lithodidae and is among the largest crustaceans on Earth. Its body has a complex structure, specially adapted to survive in the harsh, icy depths of the ocean. An adult can weigh between 13 and 22 pounds, or about 6 to 10 kilograms, with a leg span reaching up to 5 feet or about 1.5 meters. Its outer shell, made of calcium carbonate, is thick and hard, protecting it from the immense pressure of the deep sea, which can be dozens of times greater than the pressure at the surface, and from attacks by natural predators. These crabs live in deep waters between 650 and 1,300 feet, or about 200 to 400 meters, where sunlight barely reaches. The average water temperature there is only 34 to 39 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 1 to 4 degrees Celsius. In such cold conditions, their metabolism slows significantly, allowing them to conserve energy and live for more than 20 years. King crabs do not swim quickly. They move slowly, using their 8 strong legs, while the two large front claws are used for defense and catching prey. Their diet includes bottom-dwelling creatures such as mollusks, starfish, marine worms, and small algae. Within the deep-sea ecosystem, the king crab is both a predator and prey. Octopuses, Arctic cod, and seals are their main hunters. However, their thick armor and ability to blend in with the sandy seabed greatly increase their chances of survival. When threatened, they burrow into the sand or move in groups, forming a natural barrier against predators. The reproduction cycle of the king crab occurs once a year, usually at the end of winter when the sea begins to warm. After mating, the female carries her eggs beneath her abdomen for more than 11 months. Each female can carry up to 150,000 tiny eggs, tightly attached to her abdominal limbs. When the eggs hatch, the larvae drift near the surface, carried by ocean currents, and undergo several complex stages of transformation. After about 2 to 3 months, they gradually sink to the ocean floor and begin their independent lives. However, only about 1% of these hundreds of thousands of larvae survive to adulthood. Most fall prey to small fish, jellyfish, or larger planktonic creatures. This natural selection process causes the king crab population to grow very slowly, which is why they are considered a valuable marine resource that must be carefully managed. One of the most remarkable biological traits of the king crab is molting. During their growth, they must repeatedly shed their old shells to expand in size. Each molting period is a vulnerable time because for 1 to 2 days, until the new shell hardens, their bodies are soft and exposed, making them easy targets for predators. Those that survive this phase grow rapidly and often become the dominant members of the population. Marine biologists consider the king crab an important biological indicator of the health of cold sea ecosystems. Changes in water temperature, salinity, or pollution can directly affect their growth rate. Therefore, the fishing industries in Alaska and Russia have implemented strict regulations. Crabbing is allowed only during certain seasons. The crabs must meet a minimum size requirement, and it is strictly forbidden to harvest egg-carrying females. Thanks to these measures, the king crab population in the Bering Sea has remained stable, despite increasing global demand. This species is not only a luxurious delicacy, but also a symbol of endurance and survival in one of the harshest environments on Earth, where life exists only for those who are best adapted. The king crab season lasts only a few weeks, but during that short time, fishermen face some of the harshest conditions a human being can endure. Out on the freezing Bering Sea, the air temperature can drop to -22 degrees Fahrenheit or about -30 degrees Celsius, with waves reaching up to 26 feet or about 8 meters, and winds hammering the ocean like sledgehammers. In that brutal setting, steel ships cut through the ice, carrying hundreds of heavy iron traps weighing nearly 660 pounds, or about 300 kilograms, their only weapons in the hunt for the red gold beneath the ocean's surface. Each trap is called a pot. It is packed with bait, usually chunks of herring or cod, and marked with a floating buoy. Using hydraulic winches, fishermen lower each pot hundreds of feet down into the sea. It's a job that demands raw strength, precision, and perfect teamwork. Even a small mistake can be fatal. A thick rope can wrap around a leg or arm, pulling a person into the freezing ocean in a split second. In these icy waters, just a few degrees above freezing, a person can lose consciousness in less than 2 minutes if they fall overboard. Once all the pots are dropped, the boat keeps moving through the snow and wind to mark their locations. After about 24 hours, the most intense part begins: the haul. Waves can tilt the boat as much as 45 degrees, and the deck becomes slick with frozen seawater. The crew straps on their safety harnesses, grips the winches tightly, and scans the water for the next buoy. As the line tightens, the cable strains like steel, and the sound of metal grinding cuts through the roaring wind. Every haul is a moment of suspense. Inside the pot could be dozens of massive, bright red crabs, or nothing at all, meaning hours of effort for nothing. When the catch is good, the crew momentarily forgets the cold. They quickly sort the crabs, using a measuring gauge to check the size. Only male crabs that meet the legal size requirement are kept. Females and undersized crabs are released immediately, following strict conservation laws. The process repeats hundreds of times a day. Each fisherman works more than 20 hours straight, taking only short breaks between hauls. They eat in a hurry, sometimes right on the deck, their hands trembling from cold and exhaustion. In such conditions, one strong wave or one wrong step can mean disappearing into the sea forever. According to the U.S. Coast Guard, king crab fishing has a fatality rate 25 times higher than the national average for all other occupations. But with that danger comes reward. A successful season can earn a single boat hundreds of thousands of dollars, and a skilled deckhand can make over $50,000 in just a few weeks. That kind of money, earned once a year, is what drives them to face the danger. Because for many, it's their one chance to change their lives. When the first pot comes up full of crabs, cheers erupt across the deck, echoing through the blizzard. No one says much, but their eyes are filled with hope. They know that every crab is the result of hard labor, sweat, and luck. Yet, that joy lasts only for a moment. The wind rises again, the waves grow stronger, and the work continues. Ahead lie dozens more pots waiting in the freezing water. Out here, there is no room for mistakes. In the storm and the roaring sea, every decision, no matter how small, can mean the difference between life and death. After many days of fishing in the freezing sea, the first hauls of king crabs are moved to the ship's storage compartment, kept at a constant temperature between 32 and 36 degrees Fahrenheit, or about 0 to 2 degrees Celsius. Each crab is carefully sorted by size, weight, and gender. The ones that meet commercial standards, usually weighing over 11 pounds or about 5 kilograms, are placed in insulated containers covered with ice and misted regularly to maintain humidity. This process ensures that the crabs remain as fresh and alive as possible until the vessel returns to port. Once the ships arrive, the entire catch is transferred to coastal processing plants. There, the crabs are cleaned, inspected for quality, and packaged according to export standards. Each shipment is tagged with a QR code for traceability, which records the exact fishing coordinates, harvest date, and inspection details. A modern cold chain transportation system keeps the temperature stable throughout the journey from Alaska to major culinary centers such as Tokyo, Seoul, New York, and Dubai. The total delivery time usually does not exceed 72 hours from the moment the crabs are caught. The economic value of king crabs comes from their rarity, meat quality, and the extreme difficulty of catching them. On the international market, a premium-grade crab can sell for $400 to $600 US. In Japan, King crab is often served in kaiseki, or high-end sushi restaurants, where every dish is presented as a piece of art. In the United States, it appears in luxury seafood restaurants in cities like New York and Los Angeles, often paired with white wine or garlic butter. Nutritionally, king crab is highly regarded by dietitians. Its meat contains more than 19% pure protein with almost no saturated fat. It also provides large amounts of essential minerals such as zinc, selenium, magnesium, calcium, and vitamin B12. These nutrients help strengthen the immune system, improve cardiovascular health, and boost metabolism. Studies have shown that the protein found in crab meat is easier for the body to absorb than that of red meat, and is less likely to cause cholesterol buildup. From a cultural perspective, king crab represents more than just food. It is a symbol of celebration and prosperity. In Japan, it is considered a traditional dish for holidays and special occasions. In South Korea, king crab hot pot symbolizes wealth and abundance. Across Europe, it is ranked among the luxury delicacies, alongside caviar and lobster. Seeing king crab on a menu is a statement of status and success. Economically, the king crab industry brings in hundreds of millions of dollars each year for coastal regions in Alaska and Russia. To maintain sustainability, both governments enforce strict quotas, limiting the number of fishing vessels and the length of the harvest season. Monitoring is done through satellite tracking systems and onboard devices to ensure that all operations comply with marine conservation regulations. The journey of a king crab, from being hauled up in a blizzard to appearing on an elegant dining table, is a precise, high-tech process. Every step, from preservation and transportation to processing, is carefully controlled to retain the crab's natural sweetness and texture. In the refined atmosphere of luxury restaurants, when a king crab leg is cracked open and the tender, snow-white meat releases gentle steam, it is more than just a meal. It is the result of thousands of hours of labor in the freezing sea, a product of sacrifice, expertise, and flawless craftsmanship. That is why the king crab has become a global symbol of value in economy, science, and culinary culture alike. The king crab industry now generates more than $4 billion annually, spanning multiple countries and regions. From the icy waters of Alaska and Russia's Kamchatka Peninsula to Norway, Japan, and the United States, the supply chain of this red gold of the ocean operates almost non-stop throughout the year. Every stage, from harvesting and preservation to inspection and export, is managed with high-precision technology and fully digitalized systems. Once caught, the king crabs are placed in refrigerated storage on the vessel, maintained at 32 to 36 degrees Fahrenheit or about 0 to 2 degrees Celsius. Upon arrival at port, the crabs are transported to coastal sorting centers, where workers in protective suits handle each batch with care. The crabs are weighed, measured, and classified into international standards: 3 kilogram, about 6.6 pound, 5 kilogram, about 11 pound, and 7 kilogram, about 15.4 pound categories. All must remain alive and undamaged, with intact legs and shells. The packaging process takes place in a sterilized environment. Each container is fitted with a temperature sensor that tracks conditions throughout transportation. Data from these sensors are transmitted to control centers via IoT, Internet of Things systems, allowing exporters to monitor every change. even as small as 0.1 degrees Celsius or about 0.18 degrees Fahrenheit. A minor deviation, such as the temperature exceeding 39 degrees Fahrenheit or about 4 degrees Celsius for just a few hours, can ruin an entire shipment and wipe out its value. Precision in this industry is literally measured to the thousandth of a degree. Once the quality check is complete, the crabs are sealed and labeled with QR traceability codes. These codes contain all relevant details: the route, fishing coordinates, vessel name, harvest date, and processing company. Consumers in Tokyo, New York, or Hanoi can simply scan the code to see exactly where their crab was caught, when it was harvested, and how it traveled to their plate. Transportation routes are optimized through modern logistics technology. From Alaska's ports, shipments are carried by refrigerated trucks to Anchorage Airport, then flown to Japan, South Korea, or the United States within 48 to 72 hours. For Asian markets, especially Vietnam, Singapore, and China, the crabs are stored in specialized cold containers that maintain pressure and humidity levels similar to their natural environment, keeping the meat firm and sweet. On a global scale, over 100,000 tons of king crab are exported each year, with the United States and Japan accounting for nearly 60% of total consumption. Major seafood corporations such as Trident, Global Seafoods, and the Russian Crab Company have invested hundreds of millions of dollars in blockchain-based traceability systems, allowing each individual crab to be tracked from the ocean floor all the way to the consumer's hands. This intricate supply chain stands as a testament not only to the world's most advanced cold storage and logistics technologies, but also to the deep economic connection between humanity and the sea. Every king crab served on a dining table represents a journey of thousands of miles, sustained by engineering, discipline, and near-perfect precision. The king crab fishing industry was once seen as a symbol of wealth and success. Yet behind its multi-billion-dollar economic value lies a troubling reality. The natural population of king crabs in the North Pacific Ocean has been declining at an alarming rate. According to reports from oceanographic institutes in Alaska and Russia, the number of wild red king crabs has dropped by more than 70% in just 2 decades. Scientists point to 3 main causes: overfishing, climate change, and marine pollution. Modern fishing vessels, equipped with advanced navigation systems and massive trap nets, have pushed harvesting levels far beyond what nature can replenish. Rising sea temperatures have altered ocean currents, disrupting the food sources young crabs rely on. Meanwhile, plastic waste and abandoned metal traps litter the seafloor, creating what experts call ecological minefields, where countless marine creatures become trapped and slowly die. Experts warn that without sustainable management measures, within the next 10 years, king crabs could disappear from the wild altogether, surviving only in artificial hatcheries. In response, several international organizations and marine research institutes have launched artificial breeding programs. Juvenile crabs are raised in controlled environments and later released into protected marine zones. The goal is to restore wild populations and maintain the balance of the ocean's ecosystem. This is a crucial step toward balancing economic benefit and environmental responsibility, a boundary humanity must respect if we wish to preserve this red gold for future generations. As the sun slowly sinks below the Alaskan horizon, its final rays glimmer across the icy surface of the sea. The fishing vessel returns after days of battling the waves. Amid the quiet, only the deep hum of the engine remains. The fishermen glance at one another, their eyes heavy with exhaustion, yet filled with pride. They have completed a journey, not just to harvest, but to keep a promise made to the ocean itself. The king crab, a symbol of power and luxury, is above all a symbol of human determination and endurance. Each crimson claw represents more than economic value. It is a testament to courage, to the spirit of those who dare to venture into the coldest waters on Earth in search of opportunity. The sea never gives anything easily. It is harsh and unforgiving, yet fair. Only those who respect it, protect it, and give back what they have taken can continue to survive alongside it. Today, as technology and science open new horizons, humanity begins another chapter. Farming and conserving king crabs in controlled environments. This is not merely an economic effort, but a promise to the ocean, that we will not deplete its treasures, but instead learn to live in harmony with it. And this journey has only just begun. In the next episode, we will follow the fishermen of the far north, where king crab aquaculture technology is being tested for the first time. Can humans truly recreate this biological wonder? Can a sustainable future for this red gold of the ocean become a reality? Stay with us as we dive deeper beneath the ocean's surface to uncover not only its riches, but also its lessons in balance, faith, and humanity's eternal will to survive.